Good morning everyone. How are you all? Hope you all guys are doing fine. So the next topic that I am going to discuss today is National TB Control Program, which is also known as NTCP. It is National TB Control Program. So this National TB Control Program, it was launched in the year 1962. It was launched in the year 1962. So how this program was launched means, in total percent of burden means in 100% of burden, 50% of burden will be on the state government and 50% of the burden will be on the central government. That means 50% of the help will be given by the 50% of the funds will be given by the state government and 50% of the funds will be given by the central government. So mainly this program was shared between the center and the state government regard to the supply of anti-TB drugs. Mainly on the, they are focusing on the anti-TB drugs. So TB, you all know that it is a completely curable disease. If the patient is taking proper treatment, if the patient is taking proper full course of treatment, it is a completely curable disease. So all the diagnostics and all the treatment facilities which are including the anti-TB drugs, all the diagnostics as well as treatment and anti-TB drugs, all this should be given to the patient with free of cost. The main strategy is to give the treatment cost and diagnostic cost and all the other supplies to the free of cost for the TB patients. Through the NTCP, it has been operation since 1904. See here, this NTCP was launched in 1962, but it was there from 1904, means 1904. It was there from the way 1904, but due to some issues, it did not make any impact on the epidemiological distribution. It did not make any impact on the epidemiological distribution. That's what they have started this program. They have launched this program in the year 1962, on which basis 50% of the program burden will be shared by the state government and 50% of the burden will be shared by the central government. So mainly the objectives of this program is mainly to detect as many cases as possible and efficiently to treat them. So here, what is the main objective? The objective is to detect as many cases as possible and affect to render infectious causes as non-infectious. Since its inception, the program is integrated with the primary healthcare infrastructure in states. So what it is saying, mainly the objective of the program is to reduce the cases. Whenever they are reducing the cases, there is no transmission of cases from one patient to another patient. Since TB is a communicable disease and it is occurring in the patients who are immunocompromised and whose immune system is very low. So if you are able to cut out the number of cases, then you can easily control the disease. Affect to render infectious cases as non-infectious. So whenever you are cutting, the infectious cases will become non-infectious. Means whenever you are finding out the cases, when you are giving proper treatment, so these people will lose their potency to infect the other patients, so that the infection rate is controlled. In March 1997, the Planning Commission changed the pattern of center assistance from 50% to 100%. So when it was started in 1962, how the program was shared? The program was shared 50 and 50 basis, means 50% of the funds has to be allocated by the state government and 50% of funds has to be allocated by the central government. But in 1997, the Planning Commission has changed it. So entire 100% of this burden for this program will be shared by the shared by the central government. Mainly central government. Requirement of anti-TB drugs of the states to meet by the center. So whatever the anti-TB drugs, anti-TB drugs are necessary, all those things will be bared by the central government. So coming to the controlling part. So controlling TB in India is a tremendous challenge. Why? Because why controlling TB in India is tremendous challenge means we are having low low sanitation, no low environmental sanitations. We are having some low standards of living. Our power, there are so many number of people who are living in below poverty line, in poverty line, and so many number of people who are living in low socio-economic status, and they are living in slums. So it was a tremendous challenge, and nearly in India there is lot of population to cover. The TB burden in India is still staggering. See, why every year 1.8 million persons develops the disease. So why it is very hard to control? Me, there are more number of people and more number of people living close together in low living standard conditions, since we are still in a developing state, not a developed state. So what is happening? There is increased burden. But day by day the burden is increasing instead of decreasing. So every year 1.8 million persons develop the disease, of which about 8 lakhs are infectious. So how many persons are developing? About 1.8 million persons are developing, in which 8 lakh people are becoming infectious. Means these 8 lakh persons are able to transmit the infection from one person to another person. Until recently, see what had happened. Until recent 3,70,000 died of it annually. See, every year 1.8 million persons had been being affected with this disease. In these persons, in this 1.8 million people, 8 lakh people are becoming infectious, and in these 8 lakh people, nearly 3,70,000 people had died annually. Means if you are calculating, it will be like 1,000 deaths per day. It will be like 1,000 deaths per day. So the disease is major barrier to social and economic development. So what is happening? Because of this increased disease rate, because of this increased expenditures on this disease, it is becoming a barrier. It is becoming a barrier for social as well as economic development. An estimated 100 million work days were lost due to this illness. So because of this number of increased deaths, means number of increase in the mortality rate. So there are an estimated 100 million working days were lost because of this disease. The revised National Tuberculosis Program, which is also known as RNTCP, I am going to discuss this in the coming topics. Based on DOT strategy, based on the DOT strategy. DOT strategy means direct observed treatment. So DOT therapy means directly observed treatment regimen. So what is happening in this thing? So what they have decided is, they have decided to pilot study this. Pilot study means nothing but they want to experiment this. So they have studied this from 1993. They have studied this DOTS therapy from 1993, and officially they have launched this program in the year 1997. So coming to the National TB Control Program. So what are the main objectives of this program? Mainly the objectives are BCG vaccination on mass scale. They want to immunize the patient through mass vaccination. And second one is domiciliary treatment with anti-tuberculosis drugs organized through district tuberculosis control program. What they are saying, what the point is saying, domiciliary treatment. Domiciliary treatment means nothing but home treatment with anti-tuberculosis drugs. Only they want to treat the patient from the home itself, through which district tuberculosis control program. District tuberculosis control program. They want to treat the patients in the houses itself. Setting up of training and demonstration centers. So they want to create centers, and they want to train the health personnel. Isolation and treatment of cases in special circumstances means, you all know, everybody are familiar with our government hospitals. If you go to our government hospitals, there will be some special blocks for this pulmonary wards, which are infectious wards. Nothing but there are like TB wing will be entirely different. Why? Because it is having this spreading nature. It is very, very contagious, and it can transmit from one person to another person. So that's what they want to keep the patient in isolation, and they want to treat the cases in special circumstances. And rehabilitation and research. So based on this research, they will implement the new strategies, and they will implement the new modalities in the treatment. So these are the objectives of National TB Control Program. Coming to the district tuberculosis center. So what is this district tuberculosis center? So as I said in the objectives, domiciliary treatment with anti-tuberculosis drugs organized through district tuberculosis control program. So mainly this district tuberculosis control program was mainly carried out in district tuberculosis center. So it was implemented in the year 1962. When it came into existence, it came into existence in the year 1962. In the district, the program is implemented through district tuberculosis center and primary healthcare institutions. So in districts, mainly the district tuberculosis centers and the primary healthcare institutions played a major role in district tuberculosis center program. The DTP is supported by the state level organization for the coordination and supervision of the program. Mainly it was coordinated and supervised by the state level organization. So mainly this program is operational in most of the district till it is replaced by DOT strategy. So till the DOT strategy came into existence, means till the DOT strategy came to ground level, this district tuberculosis center program had played a major role in the districts. So coming to the strategy of this DTC. So the strategy is early detection and treatment, thereby converting infectious cases to non-infectious cases and preventing non-infectious cases from becoming infectious with treatment. So what is the main strategy here? Early detection. Whenever you are detecting the case early, you are able to treat the persons and we are turning them from infectious state to non-infectious state, and we are preventing the cases becoming infectious with the help of anti-tubercular drugs. Second one is diagnosis through radiology and sputum microscopy. Mainly they are diagnosing the disease through radiology and as well as sputum microscopy. And next one is free domiciliary treatment through primary healthcare services. What they are doing? Pre-domiciliary treatment through primary healthcare centers, mean through PHCs. They are treating the case in the home itself with free of cost. Establishing district tuberculosis center in every district. The aim is to establish a tuberculosis center and a PHC in every district. So extended coverage and a short course of chemotherapy. Extended coverage and a short course of chemotherapy. And next one is strengthening state TB training and demonstration center. So what they want to do, they want to strengthen the state TB training and they want to increase the demonstration centers, so that the care and the quality given to the patient is more and in high standards. Okay, this is regarding the national TB control program. Coming to the other program means, so coming to the other program means this NTCP, National Tuberculosis Control Program, was turned out into revised National Tuberculosis Control Program, nothing but R and TCP. Mainly they are including DOT strategy. What they are including? They are including DOT strategy. In the National Tuberculosis Control Program, they have introduced a district tuberculosis center strategy, but here in revised National Tuberculosis Control Program, they have introduced DOT strategy. Coming to the continuation part. So in the year 1992, they have changed the National TB Control Program as revised National Tuberculosis Control Program, which is also known as RNTCP. Mainly the DOT strategy was used in this revised National Tuberculosis Control Program. So previously in NTCP, what kind of program was used? They used district tuberculosis control program. This is district tuberculosis center program. So they used to cover the patients in the district level and lower level. But in the year 1992, even though this DOT therapy was introduced in 1962, it was introduced in small spaces where it is possible. But in the year 1992, there was an expert committee which has reviewed on this project, and they have and based on their suggestions and based on the recommendation, the government of India has revolved, means the government of India has changed National tuberculosis control program to revised national tuberculosis control program. It was mainly on the dots therapy. It was mainly on the dots therapy, which is nothing but directly observed treatment short course. It was mainly directly observed treatment short course. So mainly the objective is mainly to cure at least 85% of new sputum positive patients and detecting at least 70% of such patients. So RNTCP is implemented through TB societies at state and district levels. So there is a state TB officer and as well as a district TB officer. These two persons, the state and the district level officers, these persons are responsible for the program, for the proper implementation of, for the effective implementation of the program, either in states as well as in districts respectively. So the RNTCP expansion had begun in the year late 1998. So the expansion of this program, rapid expansion of this program had begun in the year 1998. By the end of 2000, 30% of the country's population was covered. So by the end of 2000, they have covered nearly 30% of the entire country population, and by the end of 2000 to 50% of the population was covered. 50% of the country population was covered, and by the end of 2003, 778 million population were covered, and at the end of 2008, the coverage reached to 997, and by 2005 around 90%. That means 1080 million of population had been covered, and the entire country was covered under DOTS therapy by the year 2006 March 24th. Every day in India under RNTCP, more than 1500 suspects are being examined for TB for free of charge. Mainly the strategy is to find out the number of patients who are affected with this disease and to provide free cost and treatment for these patients. So the diagnosis of these patients and the follow-up of the patients on treatment is achieved through examination of more than 50,000 laboratory specimens. So whenever they are doing more number of tests, they are able to find out more number of new cases. As a result of these examinations, each day about 3,500 patients are started on the treatment. So whenever they are doing the laboratory test, if they find any suspect case, they are taking the sputum cultures, they are doing the sputum test, and they are diagnosing the case in the examination centers. So when the specimen is taken and it was diagnosed in the laboratory, if they find out the patient is positive for TB, what they are doing, immediately they are starting the treatment, so that they are bringing the patient from infectious state to non-infectious state. So stopping the spread of TB in the community, RNTCP has been expanding rapidly. RNTCP had been expanding very rapidly. Coming to the goals and objectives of RNTCP, what are the general goals? So general objectives are to reduce morbidity and mortality due to tuberculosis. What is the main strategy? To reduce the morbidity and mortality. So whenever they are screening more number of persons, they are able to find out the more number of patients who are getting positive for the disease. So if they find any patient with the positive sign, what they are doing, they are immediately starting the treatment regimen, so that the person is getting out from the disease. And next objective is to break the chain of transmission, so that the tuberculosis causes to be major public health problem. So what they are doing, whenever they are making the infectious patient to non-infectious patient, automatically they are cutting down the chain of infection, so that the health problem, means the more number of cases development is being reduced, being cut off. Coming to the operational objectives, to provide SSC to all detected TB patients, mainly to provide treatment to the all detected patients, TB patient, for the recommended duration of treatment till they are cured. Mainly they want to provide this treatment for all detected TB patients, and they want to give this treatment till they are being cured. To treat annually on an average about 640 sputum positive cases per million population, and as against the existing rate of 375 per million population. So previously Previously, for 1 million population, they used to treat 375 cases. They used to treat 375 cases of sputum positive patients. But now they want to treat nearly 640 patients for 1 million population. So they want to find out for 1 million patient, 1 million population, they want to find out nearly 640 sputum positive cases, and they want to treat. And to administer, next one is to administer anti-tubercular drugs under direct observed treatment therapy. Mainly on under the dots, they want to give complete treatment for the patient, and observation in the intensive phase, and maintaining good quality supervision through drug administration during the continuation phase. Treatment services will be made most accessible to patient through the involvement of peripheral health functionaries, with a view to achieve a cure rate of at least 85% among all newly detected sputum positive cases. So what they are doing, they want to give the patient a quality treatment. They want to give the patient a quality treatment. So quality treatment is given by proper supervision, proper maintenance, proper supervision and proper maintenance. So they want to administer the drugs in a proper way, and treatment services are made available for the ground level staff. Means to the peripheral staff, means to the ASHA workers who are working in the community itself, and to the nurses and to the auxiliary nurses who are working in the PHCs and sub-centers. So whenever they are able to they are able to treat from that level, the cases rate will automatically decrease and the treatment rate will automatically increase. So mainly they want to achieve the cure rate of at least 85% in newly detected sputum positive cases. So whenever they are able to detect new positive cases, they are immediately starting the treatment. If they are immediately starting the treatment, the achieve rate is about 85%. In 100, if 100 patients are getting positive, the cure rate must be at least 85% among those detected patients. To detect at least 70% of the estimated incidence of smear positive pulmonary tuberculosis patients, efforts at case detection to be made only after achieving 85% cure rate. Coming to the strategy of this program, strategies are relating to case finding. The strategies are mainly relating to case finding. Case finding will be passive. Emphasis will be laid on diagnosis through sputum examination, and quality of diagnosis will be improved by provision of binocular microscopes, uninterrupted supply of good quality reagents and slides and sputum cups. So what are the strategies of case finding? They want to find out, the case finding will be always in a passive state. So what they are doing, whenever they are able to provide proper diagnosing kits, proper quality reagents and slides and sputum cups, they are able to collect more number of samples, and they are able to diagnose the person. They are able to diagnose these persons. And next one is 3 sputum smear for diagnosis. They are taking 3 sputum smears for diagnosis, and establishing quality control with a cross checking mechanism at sub district. So state and national through networking of laboratories, and monitoring the proportion of cases diagnosed with bacteriological confirmation. So what is the another strategy? They want to do the quality control. So how they are doing this quality control? Whenever they say a patient is tested positive or negative for the tuberculosis, they are taking that same sample. They are taking the same sample at and cross checking that sample at sub district level, at state level, and at national level through networking of laboratories, so that the quality is being maintained. Coming to the strategies related to treatment and case holding. So till now I have discussed regarding strategies related to case finding. So what is the strategy? Mainly it will be always in the positive way. They have to what we have to do, we have to supply uninterrupted good quality reagents and slides and sputum and binocular microscope, so that the case finding will be very easy. And 3 sputum smears for the diagnosis, and they are doing, if a person is tested positive or if a person is tested negative for the tuberculosis, they are cross checking the sample at district level, at state level, at national level through networking of laboratories. Coming to the strategy that is related to, coming to the strategies that were related to Treatment and case holding. What are the strategies that were related to treatment and case holding? All identified tuberculosis patients, tuberculosis patient will be given treatment as per treatment regimens for different categories of patients. It was given as per their category. The initiative phase will be directly observed through responsible peripheral functionaries, and continuation phase will be appropriately supervised by observing appropriately supervised by observing the intake of first dose of medicine during the weekly drug collections and checking empty foils of combi pack. So how it is being developed, how it is being monitored means the patients who are receiving the treatment, and the patients who are receiving the treatment during the initiative phase, they are directly observing. So the peripheral functionaries mean the workers who are working at the ground level, at the home care level, they are responsible person to supervise them. And in the continuation of doses, in the continuation, so they are appropriately monitored whether we have, whenever we are giving medication to the, people who are affected, who are getting treated for this disease. So if they are taken or not, they have to show us the fossils. They have to show us the fossils, whether they have empty fossils, whether they have taken the dose or not at the time of collection of next dose and random check by health workers. So how it can be achieved? You have to instruct the patient to show us the empty fossils of medicine which were taken by the patient, and you have to go and check randomly. So we have to do health visits, we have to do home visits, and we have to check whether the patient is taking the treatment appropriately or not in a random manner. Coming to the strategy which is related to operational management, strengthening at the central, state and district levels will be done by providing necessary manpower, equipment, training to facilitate monitoring, supervision and training. So what is the strategy related to operational management means? Mainly they want to strengthen the main this tuberculosis centers. How they can strengthen? They have to give adequate manpower, they have to give equipment, they have to train the persons, and they have to facilitate monitoring and supervision and proper training. Through all these things, they can achieve this. They can strengthen the treatment part. Coming to the activities, first one is case finding. So in rural areas, what are the existing laboratories which are available at sub centers and community health centers? They want to level up the maximum for 1 lakh population. They want to level up those PHCs and community health center facilities, and they want to treat. Coming to the treatment and case holding, drugs for 3 days a week will be given throughout the intensive phase. So what they are doing at the intensive phase, they are giving drugs for 3 days, and facility of treatment will be made available at sub centers, treatment centers close to the patient residence or village, or enhance patient compliance. So what they are doing in treatment and case holding, what is this treatment and case holding means? So treatment, coming to the treatment part, in initiative phase, drugs for 3 weeks will be given. Drugs for 3 days will be 3 weeks will be given for the patient, and after that they will make a facility for the patient at the nearest hospital, nearest subcenter or PH which is available to his residence, and they will monitor the patient. So what it is, how they are doing means, if a person is having cough for more than 2 weeks, you can see it in the picture. If a person is having cough for more than 2 weeks, they will consider him as a TB suspect. And what they will do, they will collect this sputum and smear, and they will send it into the laboratory. They will send it into the laboratory, and they will diagnose. Once they have diagnosed, they will diagnose the patient according to the categorization. Once after categorization, they will start the treatment. Once the treatment was started, they will register the patient, and the patient has to follow up, and outcome will be reported. So coming to the and the other one is patient wise drug boxes. So here also you can see, first TB suspect, if the patient is having more than 2 weeks, diagnosis and categorization, start the treatment regimen, then registration and follow up and outcome reporting. So the unique feature of this RNTCP are the patient-wise drug boxes. So for an adult and pediatric cases. So patient wise they will do this drug boxes. What it will do, which it will improve the patient care and it will improve the adherence and drug supply and stock management. So whenever the patient is having drug boxes for each person, patient wise if there is drug boxes, so according to the age, if he is an adult, the treatment regimen will be different. Even if he is an infant or a child, the treatment will be different. So for pediatric cases, so what this regimen will do means, in this RNTCP the patient care is mainly improving and adherence and drug supply will be maintained, and this drug stock management also can be maintained. All patients will receive free drugs under this DOTS therapy. Mainly health worker or community based volunteer will come and they will distribute this. Coming to the directly observed treatment, it is necessary to prevent patients from interrupting treatment throughout the duration of treatment. Since the treatment for this tuberculosis little more, there should be a person who should monitor the patient particularly and continuously. So mainly it is necessary for us to monitor the patient to stop the interruption. So what this directly observed treatment will do, it ensure that the patients are receiving the medication and the right drugs and right doses. It ensures that the patient receive the correct medication, correct drugs and correct doses in correct duration of treatment. Coming to the mechanism of DOT. Coming to the mechanism of DOT. Coming to the mechanism of DOT. So DOT provider can be anybody who is accessible and acceptable to the patient. So the persons can be anybody who were accessible and acceptable by the patient and accountable to health system, who is not a family member. So it can be anybody who are working in the healthcare system and it should not be a family member. It should not be a family member. And the DOT providers are the healthcare workers who are like ASHA workers, Anganwadi workers, and NGOs and private practitioners, community volunteers, shopkeepers and cured patients. So all these persons can work in the treatment part, because during the intensive phase, as I said earlier, the patient has to be closely monitored in the intensive phase. So the intensive phase treatment will be like 2 to 3 months. Okay, the intensive phase treatment will be like 2 to 3 months. So all the doses which were given to the patient, they must be directly given by a volunteer or any kind of health worker. The patient cannot we should not leave the patient to take on his own, because the patient might miss a dose. So but whenever we are able to observe the treatment regimen, we are able to give the treatment on our own, there is less chances for missing of a dose, so that the patient is receiving the dose at right time and right amount at right treatment regimen drug. And the next one is during the continuation phase. So the remaining part of the treatment, the first dose of the week is given to the patient under direct observation of DOT provider. So after this weekly we can go there, as I said earlier, we can go there, we can check those empty fossils, and we can leave the patient on his own. So coming to the information, and third one is information, education and communication. So in the activities we have discussed in the activities we have discussed regarding case finding and treatment and case handling. In treatment and case handling, I have discussed regarding the DOT and the mechanism of DOT. Now we are moving on to the next one, information and education and communication. So why information, education and communication is very important means, so it will give knowledge and awareness of providers and users and community at large about different spells of tuberculosis and its control measures through IEC, information, education and communication. So with the help of this information, education and communication, what we are doing, we are providing knowledge regarding the disease, we are educating them regarding the disease, and we are able to communicate them regarding the disease. Training of staff. So whenever you are training the staff appropriately, either it could be at central level, it could be at district level, or it could be at ground level, level. So if you are able to train the staff, and if you are able to strengthen the terms of staff, either it could be equipment or vehicles or civil works, so we are able to provide quality of care to the patients. We are able to provide quality of care to the patient. Next one is management of information system. Management of information system, it is required to have MIS, means management of information system, to show main indicators of program effectiveness. And next one is program surveillance and supervision and monitoring strategy. Next one is program surveillance, supervision and monitoring strategy. Why this one is required means, so we need continuous supervision and monitoring whether the program is going in proper way or not, whether they are finding any kind of difficulties. If there are any kind of difficulties in implementing the program, they will find new modalities and some techniques to overcome those difficulties. Next one is involvement of medical colleges. So under RNTCP, they have taken an initiative to involve medical college and to gain momentum. So what these medical colleges will do, they will do banner participation. They will do banner participation, so that all the patients are receiving the proper treatment, and all the healthcare workers are receiving the proper training and treatment and education regarding the disease. Next one is collaboration with NACO. NACO means National AIDS Control Organization. NACO means National AIDS Control Organization. So RNTCP and National AIDS Control Organization are collaborating to implement HIV TB action plan. Why it is important for AIDS patient means, see, AIDS means acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So what is happening, the patients who are affected with this AIDS, they are having weak immune system, they are immunely compromised, and these patients are more prone to get TB in the HIV infected stage. So for this patient, they want to introduce the counseling centers, and they want to introduce the testing centers, and they want to treat this type of person. And next one is multi-drug resistant. So mainly to improve tuberculosis control, it is essential to improve treatment of patients, so that the drug resistance of tuberculosis is not created. So if the same drugs are being taken by the population generations to generations, what will happen at some point of time, these drugs will become ineffective, because of the organism is gaining resistance against the disease. So for this type of patients, so it is very essential to improve treatment of patients so that the drug resistance is not created. Among few patients who are not cured, the overwhelming reason is failure to ensure that the drugs are not taken as prescribed. So what is the thing, if you are not able to take the drugs in a proper manner, if you are failing to take the drugs at correct time in correct doses, your treatment regimen is not completely followed, so that the organism which is entered into your body is gaining the resistance against the drug, and the drugs are not able to work properly. Coming to the operational structure of RNTCP. So this is the operational structure of RNTCP. State cell TB will be there. From state cell TB, district center of TB will be there. From that, there will be microscopy center, means tuberculosis unit. From tuberculosis unit, there will be like microscopy center. From microscopy there will be like dot center. So this state TB cell have state TB officer, and district TB cell will have district TB officer, and this tuberculosis unit will have other health workers, and as well as the microscopy, and at the end they will have this NGOs, common volunteers, people who are previously infected and cured. In microscopic center they will have this lab technicians and all the other persons. So this is the operational structure of RNTCP in state. So how it is being implemented? Implementation of RNTCP. How they are implementing means, at district health society to district TB officer, from TB officer to TB unit, means sub district hospital or community, from there PHC or district medical center, or from PHC, from district medical center to the or community health center to PHC, from PHC to sub centers. In sub centers, who are working? Community volunteers, ASHA workers, and NGOs, and people who are previously cured. All these persons are working. So this is the implementation of RNTCP. I'm going to discuss second phase of RNTCP in another video. So please take down the notes till here. We'll discuss the next part in another class.